Greetings YouTubers, my watchers, welcome back to the channel guys. You know what, first and foremost, I'm just gonna say, thank you for the people that have shown support so far. The deep dive 1 in the Undisputed game that's gonna be coming out soon has done really well. I've been really happy with a small channel like mine, and I can see the progression already. And we're here to be delving into Deep Dive 2, and the reason why we're doing Deep Dive 2 is the simple fact that there has been some official released gameplay on the PlayStation 5, and a lot of people are talking about it. There's some mixed reviews, but I have seen people talking about, they've seen a significant improvement and stuff like that. But I'm just here to delve into it and let you guys know from an expert that has played the game quite a lot. As I said in the last video, I was world ranked. I had a few people talk about, you was world ranked on a beta and stuff like that. Like, come on man, stop the negativity. There's a lot of players playing at the time. It does not matter, and I can prove myself. But do I need to? Not really. I'm just here trying to help people and make sure you're spending your money on the right things. But before we even delve into it, guys, if you do tend to like this video, like the last one, if you've not seen my last one, go check it out. Really go check it out. I did put a lot of work into that video, so it would be nice to see some more support. But yeah, let's delve into it, man. Let's go. But you know what, before we even do that, I'm gonna shout out to the publishers themselves, because guys, look how long we've been screaming out for a boxing game. We officially got one. We can't expect like the fight nights and the other, I don't even know if there's been any other successful boxing games apart from like the fight nights and stuff like that. So yeah, shouts out to Steel City, man. They're doing a really good job, and what I mean by doing a really good job, they are listening to the audience, and they're listening to the audience regarding like fixing certain little things. And from what I've seen so far, they've listened to the audience. They've fixed certain like mechanics and stuff, and I feel like that's pretty cool. And to know that they're still open and active, trying to make this game for what it is, to be up there with like Fight Night and stuff, then you gotta give them credit, man, for sure. So shouts out to Steel City. But yeah, let's delve into the real stuff. First of all, I'm gonna have my input on what I've seen so far, and to my belief, I do believe this is the new footage from the PlayStation 5, because it's a lot different in comparison to the versions that I've been playing and just PC overall. And to me, I think this game should, hopefully, fingers crossed, run in 60 FPS. If it does, then we're talking. I don't feel like it would have a major issue if it's playing in 30, but I feel like it will get the full experience if it does play at 60, due to the fact that you just want that fast pace, movement and stuff. And I feel like for a boxing game, you kind of need that. I feel like all fighting games should at least be 60 FPS, just to get that better feeling with the game itself. And you don't want that interfering with like the mechanics and stuff, like the punches feeling so slow and stuff like that. And I just feel like it's really difficult to play games in 30 frames knowing that people are playing it on higher frames in terms of like PC and stuff like that. So if this game does exceed 60 FPS, which I don't know, man, from what I've seen from so far in terms of the clips, it don't look like 60 frames. But you never know what will happen down the line. If we actually scream for that, then maybe the developers will look into it. So fingers crossed. So the main thing I really wanted to look into is the actual difference in comparison to the beta. And obviously people are saying that this is a refined, polished version. And then I can honestly say I've seen some improvements. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some improvements, and I'm gonna say them off now. So the first thing that I seen was the slipping and rolls have been improved quite a lot. So I've seen a couple of fighters doing a jab and hook, mixing up the combinations, and then you can see like the fighter actually doing some rotations where that weren't happening before. You just used to have to use your analog stick, go back and literally button mash the same button each time. So that's one thing I realized, that there was a change. I'm happy with that. because we need that in boxing. It's vital, isn't it? It's definitely vital. So I would say in terms of, you know, making that a bit better, maybe they should introduce some pivoting, you know, to help the game, and potential fighters that like to use like quite a lot of defense and counter punching and stuff like that, then maybe they can put that down the line, hopefully. But as I said, these developers are responsive, so it's good to just obviously keep it on top of them. Also, what I've seen as well is the power shots do more damage as well. They was doing damage before. I think it's going to be different with everybody because I play on the PlayStation 5 in terms of the gamepad on the PC, and I don't know what it's going to be like for the Xbox. So when I hold the L1 button and probably like throw a hook or a jab, you normally do like a power punch, I can actually see there's more power being generated in these type of punches. And that's what you actually want in the game itself. You want to see them kind of punches because that's the realistic punches, to catch them and knock them off guard, you know. So that's one thing I've noticed, and I feel like that's pretty good. So stemming off that, even though there was doing some, you can use power punches, it weren't as effective. Like they weren't dropping. Now I'm seeing opponents drop, and I like that. That's my sort of stuff, and I know you guys will probably agree as well. A couple of things as well that I spot that was pretty much an improvement was the rotation of punches. When obviously throwing them, they've got more like an impact when you throw them, and that's what I was screaming at with the game itself from the beginning. You know, I feel like when you actually hit the opponents, they were too soft. Like they don't feel like actual hits. They just feel like you literally just touching a wall. Like there's a difference now. You feel, and well, you see the actual punches hitting the opponent, and that's what you want. That kind of gives you like the oomph in the game itself, and that's what we needed, man. If you guys played the beta, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, the jabs were just, it's like you have to throw a power punch in order to generate the power that you want. You know, so this is a good thing, man. You can clearly see that they have made improvements. This is I can confirm that if it's not the PlayStation 5 version, then I don't know what the hell it is. It has to be the PlayStation 5 version, because I've seen a lot of things that weren't in the beta at all whatsoever, even in the updated beta. So this is pretty cool, man. And one other thing that I realized as well, which was very, very poor in the beginning, is the uppercuts. The uppercuts have improved so much. I think I seen like a footage of Roy Jones, you know, utilizing the uppercut itself. And as you can see, the head was actually snapping back. That stuff is what you need in boxing games. Not to be jabbing them all around the ring and stuff like that. Like, we can all do that. But in terms of certain things to, you know, daze your opponent and get rid of your opponent as fast as possible, these are the tools that we need. And I can honestly say that these things have been implemented in the game. So clearly you can see that I've mentioned some improvements, and I've literally showed you videos as well where you can see these improvements. So hopefully they continue to improve this game, because despite the fact that we are getting improvements, this game still needs a lot more to actually be the pinnacle of the boxing games overall. And I would say what else needs fixing. Number one, we're going to start off with the moving and left and right. You know, when you're going back and forth, you kind of like, you're getting your guard up like this, and then you're turning around as you're moving, if you can still hear me. Like, they need to fix them things, because it kind of throws you off, where the analog should allow you to move in a direction properly on where to actually go. Like keeping your stance still, you know, because I used to box myself. I still do. Not competing or anything like that. So if you guys actually seen my camera angle properly, like with me now, you would totally understand what I'm talking about. You know, when you're going back and forth, you kind of like want to move your body with it. But in the game, it's not allowing you to do that. So when you're moving left and right, it's actually rotating the body. And I don't understand why it does that. They need to fix that, because that can be an issue, because it stops you from utilizing certain combinations. Whereas if you stay in your stance, you can utilize them combinations. So that's definitely something that I would get to the developers to sort that out. Also, there's a lot of unrealistic damage going on in the game itself. Like, this got patched before. Apparently, like, Muhammad Ali was doing this hook thing, and it was just, it took all your health down. I feel like that's very unrealistic, and it's still happening now. I literally went online, and the same thing was happening. Even though they toned it down, it's just still the same thing. Muhammad Ali didn't even use that much hook, so I don't understand why it's generating so much power. And it's not a coincidence that these people are using these characters, because they know it works. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that you need to keep an eye on. And also just little things that I should think that they should put down the line in order to improve this game is just make it a bit more fast paced. Even though, you know, you've got the smoothness in terms of movement and stuff, I feel like that's really good. But if you add like a little pace to it, as I mentioned in the beginning, you know, 60 frames at least, then it should improve the game significantly. If we get that, we're talking, definitely. And one other thing I would say is just allowing whoever fighter you are, obviously the professional, so they're there for a reason, is to allow that character, that fighter, just to let their hands go in a proper way. And what I mean by that is, not everybody should feel the same. Everybody should feel different. So for example, if you're being people like Canelo, utilize what Canelo actually does, because I have been a few other fighters that they feel similar. I'm not gonna lie, they do feel similar. So yeah, I would say that needs fixing. But overall, I feel like this game should be a try for everybody. Do play this game. I feel like if you're interested or you're contemplating about getting it, I would definitely say go for it. But I did say in the last video that I don't feel like it's worth the price straight away, and that's just my opinion. I just feel like for a boxing game that's still unpolished, you know, you can't be paying that type of money, and that's just my opinion. I feel like once it's polished, then of course pay for it, why not? And obviously this game's still progressing, it's still uploading fighters, it's still doing a lot of things, so shouts out to the guys again. But yeah, that's my deep dive for the video. And as I said, guys, if you do like this video, you know, I'm here, man. I'm here for the long run, so show some support.